Well, hey folks, welcome back to the farm, back in the tractor again. Yes, thank you for joining us here today. This is the very first live episode I've ever done from the tractor. One of the challenges we've had here recently is rural internet, and that's one thing I got to talk a little bit about today because it's been driving me wild. Is how, there's so much technology right now that's available and advancing very, very quickly, and yet we still can't get reliable internet out to our rural locations. And so we did a quick speed test here the other day, and it's just like a dirt bike, right? 3 down, 1 up, and that's all we're getting, and it's embarrassing. And so I was thinking about, my buddy Robin. He said, what, can we do some live videos or something like that? It'd be really, really cool. We could do some stuff, whiskey and cigars. It'd be fantastic. And then I got looking, like, okay, well, what kind of reach do I really have from the house? And it's negligible. In fact, when I'm in the shop like this, I can't even get Wi-Fi. What I would have to do is have to go to the front door and open the door and stick my arm out with my phone to look up part numbers or whatever I was, something for whatever I was working on here in the shop. So it's a real challenge. Now I got to look. Hey, well, how can I get internet into the shop so that we can do this? Is this even a viable option? And I mean, the options are endless. You can go everywhere from about $150 to go short range through your power line, like a power line adapter, Ethernet adapter, all the way to a Wi-Fi bridge, which can go like 10 or 15 kilometers. And so I just phoned up the internet company that we deal with. We deal with Nexcom here, north of Beaver Lodge, and we just thought, okay, well, are we really getting everything we're paying for? And so the guy says, yeah, you know what, it's kind of spiking here or there, but it all depends on when you're trying to do it and how many people are on, and it is a shared resource, which limits the ability. And the really bad upload speed is brutal for us. I mean, we're trying to upload YouTube videos. Sometimes a 10-minute YouTube video takes us like 7 or 8 hours to upload. Like, I literally put it on and I just let it upload overnight, and then hopefully the next morning there's something for you folks to watch. So I thought maybe this live thing might be another option. Shepherd's Valley Homestead, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you tuning in to our first live here. Anyway, so what did I do? Well, right now we have a D-Link cover system. It's a mesh Wi-Fi system. So there's a hub that's connected right to our Ethernet that comes off of a dish on the side of the house. And then there's nodes that we strategically place around our home. And we do that because we have ICF basement, right? Insulated concrete foam, or whatever that stands for. It's basically styrofoam blocks of concrete poured in it. It's impenetrable when it comes to Wi-Fi. And then the shop here is, it's a pole building with steel on both sides, and also equally impenetrable. So it's pretty much, this is a black hole. And so what I did is strategically position some of the nodes on this side of the house, and then I stole one out of the kitchen because we have line of sight from the kitchen to the living room anyways, and I put one in the shop. And so here we are. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully it's not too choppy and you guys can see and hear whatever I'm talking about. Anyways, that's my end of my rant about Wi-Fi and how I'm temporarily solving this problem. Anyways, what I want to talk about today is carbon taxation, and is it fair? Is it not fair? I did put the question out on our community page on YouTube yesterday. Is this really a solution? I mean, I get that, there's definitely a lot of industries that do a lot of pollution, contribute greatly to greenhouse gas emissions, and should be to some degree held accountable to control that, minimize it, right? So we don't have wastage. There's going to be a certain amount that has to be there in order to basically execute whatever project we want to execute. But should it be that we can just belch smoke and contaminants out into the atmosphere? Probably not, right? But I also understand there's a certain amount of consumer necessity. Now, when it comes to taxation methods, I will say, I will die on this hill that I firmly believe that it is immoral to tax the necessities of life, right? We should not be taxing water. We should not be taxing home heating fuel. We should not be taxing food, things like that. And yet it is so, right? Carbon taxation for heating our home right now is, 55% of our bill. Now, can the government tighten up things to change that? Well, I think they have a moral obligation to do so, right? Bloom Family Farm, Robin, how you doing? We're giving this a shot here to see if it works from the shop. So we're gonna, if this works, then we're gonna have a sit down and get some cigars going here, buddy. Anyways, yeah. So carbon taxation. What can we do to solve this problem? So I put the question out on the YouTube community channel, like how are we going to solve this problem? So we can either continue on with the current system of carbon taxation, which is basically the consumer, the end user, just throws money at a problem and has no control over how it's executed. So, and then all the money goes to government, and right now money goes to government. There's $48.5 billion a year that is spent on bureaucracy. Now, there's obviously, same with bureaucracy, there's still a certain amount that's required to make things function, right? Any kind of time you're going to have processes or programs, you're going to need to have people to manage it. And that wouldn't be a problem if the government had a plan and they executed the plan and the plan worked. But oftentimes, as we all know, with government, that's not the case, right? So keeping the current system of carbon taxation is, I don't know, to me, not very efficient, not very effective. Second option is, well, we could just scrap all carbon taxation altogether and then just work to tighten up industry regulation. Things like the oil and gas energy sector, they're doing amazing things right now to tighten up greenhouse gas emissions from where they previously were. There's not still room to move, there's still a lot of room to move, but from where they were like 10, 15, 20 years ago, or even from where other industry peers are globally, Canadian oil and gas is by far some of the most responsible as well as energy conscious produced oil and gas in the world. But there's still room for improvement. Okay, so there's a lot of scrapping would be a good idea. Yeah, I agree. Scrapping would be a great idea. Here's the thing. I think the consumer market, the individual residents, should not have to pay carbon tax. And this is my third option, is that home heating fuel, things like that, whether it's natural gas, diesel, propane, kerosene, whatever you're heating your home with, should be exempt from carbon taxation. Now, here's the reason why, is because we have no choice. Right? Geographically, we have no choice. We live in a place Grand Prairie the other day was 44 or something degrees below zero. It was the second coldest place on the planet. So there's not a lot of options for us, right? What are we going to do? There's only so many sweaters and big coats and toques and mitts that you can put on until it's just cold and you have to turn the furnace on, and there has to be some usage of this product, right? So it's not fair to be able to tax somebody on something that they cannot survive without. I think that's completely immoral. But there's got to be some other solutions out there, and so I'd be interested to hear from you folks what that is. So because this is a test just to see if the live video is working, I'm going to cut this one off right here. But please go into our YouTube page in the community tab and answer that question. Let me know. And if you've got another idea, there's even an option for that. Drop it in the comment section there, or I think this video will get archived and you should be able to add it to the comment section on this one maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not even sure how to end this video. But anyways, let us know what you think, and then maybe guys like Chris Workington, our local MP, I can send him this, because, and this is what really started this off actually, is Chris Workington. He's our local MP, and he put a thing out there the other day about how much he appreciates local oil and gas workers getting us through this cold snap. And I myself work in the energy sector, and so I can appreciate the thanks. And if he would have just left it there, that probably would have been sufficient. Just, hey, thanks for keeping the heat on, and that would have been good. But in the comment section, he has to just add a little bit of rhetoric about people that oppose pipelines should just go disconnect their natural gas, and he just doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it that, you know what, that's not an option. That's not a realistic option. Yeah, okay, funny ha-ha, but it's not a realistic option. And for many Canadians, Albertans as well, the concern is that, they're having to make choices. When it gets to 44 below, do I buy groceries or do I keep the heat on? And so, I mean, we're talking about life or death decision making right now. And so, joking about it, a little bit of rhetoric on Facebook, although it's intended as harmless, it's a very real social problem in our country and definitely in our region. And I would hope that our MP would do a little bit more than just put some nonsense on Facebook, and maybe go to work and maybe, think about tightening up a little bit of that bureaucratic spending, maybe doing some of the things that they were elected, basically they promised to do, and unfortunately in many cases haven't done. So anyways, yeah, drop your ideas in our comments section on our community tab. Let me know what you guys think, and thank you very much for joining us. I'm gonna let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic day. Hopefully you stay warm, and we'll see you later. And I have no idea how to end this now, so you'll have to forgive me if I start poking the screen and try to figure out how to do this.